Victorian Teachers Going Online Facebook group. Welcome, Daniel.
Today, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 practical classroom strategies that you can implement to help build self-awareness in your students and to enhance their overall well-being. And I'm going to preface it by first saying that in order for these strategies to work, it's about using effective engagement techniques that facilitate reflection. And it's not the word you say, it's the music you play that's going to connect, engage, empower, and inspire your students. It requires you to take time to practice these strategies, whether it's a couple of minutes in the start of the lesson or 5 to 10 minutes a week. And it requires energy and enthusiasm because that's what students will connect with and resonate to. So what's the goal of all of this? The goal of this is to get students to tune in and discover answers to important questions tied to their well-being. Questions such as, who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? Why am I thinking, feeling, and behaving this way? What's holding me back? Because ultimately, it's these questions that's going to awaken them. And as the great Socrates once said, to know thyself, that's where the power is. So strategy number 1 is well-being wins. And what are well-being wins? Basically, this strategy can be used at the very start of the lesson to have a super start to your lesson. And what it's designed to do, it's designed to get students to tune in to something that they've done recently that's had a positive impact on their well-being. It could be something that they've done for themselves personally, like meditation, gratitude, exercise, having a hot bath after a stressful day. It could be something they've done for somebody else, an act of kindness, maybe sending somebody a positive text message they haven't spoken to for a while. Maybe it's checking in with somebody that they know is struggling and just being there as a great listening ear. So something they may have done for somebody else. It could be something that they've learned recently, a new skill. And I remember doing this recently for a Teen Empower Hour session that I run weekly for students, and I raised this question, and all I remember was the chat box being flooded with responses like, oh, I learned how to make cinnamon rolls. I learned how to play a new tune on the guitar by Dire Straits. And you can do this face-to-face in your classrooms as well as online by using the video function, students jumping onto their videos, using the chat box function, using polls. And what's important here is that there are some students that may not have done something to boost their overall well-being. So by hearing their peers, they can be inspired to then take positive action for themselves. So as a teacher facilitator, it's important to also ask the question, for those of you that haven't done something to improve your well-being, what can you do going forward? So that's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is elevating energizers. And this is best done right in the middle of the lesson, because you've probably heard the saying, when the bum is numb, the brain's most likely the same. So get students up, get them moving, get them to do something for a minute. TikTok dance, arm raises up and down, breathing in on the way up and breathing out on the way down, whatever it might be, to get their energy levels going, their blood flowing, the endorphins going, make them feel good. And then after about a minute, get them to just take a moment, some deep breaths, and ask them, what can you be grateful for right at this point in your life? Get them to tune in and Google the good. Amid everything that's happening that might not be going right, it's important for them to shift their focus on what's good. You might get a couple of students on your virtual classroom to pop on their videos, share with the class what they're grateful for. It could be via the chat box function, any way that you like. The whole idea is to get students moving, not just body-wise, but also mentally and via the heart. The third strategy is what I call personal power. And this is best done right at the very end of the lesson, to have students walking away out of the lesson feeling empowered, having an empowering end to your class. And the way this works is, as a teacher facilitator, get students to close their eyes, get into a state of light meditation. And what you're going to do is you're going to be throwing out 3 questions for them to tune into and to reflect upon. Number 1 is, what's currently causing me grief at this point in my life? So really getting students to identify what it is that's causing the distress, the anxiety, making them feel depressed. Now, it could be, okay, we've been in lockdown for quite a bit. I really want to see my friends. I really want to play weekend sport. I really want to get back to normal life. For Year 12 students, it might be, the uncertainty around ATAR, university entry criteria, whatever it might be. So getting them to identify the thing that's causing them grief, And the way in which I do this is I use the analogy of the 5 monkeys. There are 5 monkeys. Enzo, I'll put them up on the screen. Enzo, the emotional monkey. Scooter, the social monkey. Tyson, the tough monkey. Daryl, the distracted monkey, and the monkey in the mirror. And by using this metaphor, this hook, what students are then being tuned into is that thing that's holding them back that can then shift their focus to what can you do about it? That's the next question, to get those monkeys off your back. So question number 2 to ask your students through this process with their eyes closed and through reflection is, what can you do about it? What's within your power? Get them, this is something practical to do, get them to write down a list of all the things they have absolutely no control over. Because there's no point of wasting energy on the things you have no control over. And then get them to do a corresponding list of the things they do have control over. That's where the power lies, what they do have control over. So for example, for a Year 12 student, what they don't have control over is the determination of ATAR, the criteria that university sets for entry. But what they do have control over is, okay, their attitude, their work ethic, their perseverance, and following through. So that's question number 2. And then question number 3 is really getting them to tune into who's around them that can help them, because nobody becomes successful on their own. So as a teacher, just making them aware of support resources, depending on what the problem is. If it's an issue with their subject, ask the subject teacher. If it's a personal problem, maybe speak to the school counsellor, or maybe refer to a external organisation like Headspace, who I believe is on today. Making them aware of the circle of support can then have them avoid going down that track of feeling like they're walking this path on their own and drifting into loneliness and isolation. So really, really important to make them aware. They're my 3 strategies. I hope I'm within the 6 minutes. And if anybody would like a copy of the monkey graphic infograph, I'm happy to share a link. Thank you.
And I think, Daniel, at the start you mentioned something about getting them moving. I think that was really important as well, because we're all, even us teachers, we're always, in front of screen time at the moment and finding it really hard, and so are the students. Do you want to share anything else about that, Daniel?
Yeah, just around movement, I guess it's just really important for them to understand that their physiology directly affects their emotional state. And we know that if we're extensively sitting down for a prolonged period of time, our energy levels are going to drop. So it's just a quick way to reignite the energy levels first and foremost, but then to really get them to step away from what they were doing in class and just to gain some mental clarity. So what I do actually in my whenever I'm running a half-a-day program or a full-day program at a school, where I'm with the students for an extensive period of time, every 45 minutes I'm always getting them up and doing something, whether it's push-ups or handstands, or turn to the person next to you and play a song and they'll break out into a dance. So got to make it fun, got to make it creative, and even for me personally, because I do a lot of content creation, I'm sitting down a lot. I find that whenever I'm using my body, every 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes, you can sustain energy for a prolonged period of time and feel good as well. So.
Fantastic.